immediate behavioral euthanasia.
Yeah, she's like, this dog is going to die tomorrow. And I'm like, no. I'm not seeing any signs of aggression here. I'm seeing a dog that is like a screaming toddler throwing a tantrum. And that's 100% what he is.
Well, I also have PTSD with dogs,
you've almost been killed in the last 12 months. So
no.
Oh my dog. Dog. Oh my dog.
Oh, my dog, hey.
Oh, my dog, hello.
We've spent the entire day doing rescue shit, and now we're going to end our night with talking about rescue shit. It's been, I mean, kind of fun, but a lot.
Yeah, it's been a while since it's been this hectic of a day.
Yeah, usually
we've kind of got shit locked down now, so.
Yeah. But
when rescue calls,
we answer sometimes.
Yeah. So I didn't get to bed until very late last night.
Early today, actually.
Not doing anything fun except doom scrolling. But so, and then I had Roy's adoption set for this morning at like 11:30. I was like, okay, great. I can wake up late. I don't care. No big deal. Well, I wake up to my phone going off, which is weird because usually it's on Do Not Disturb overnight, but I must have nixed that at some point. And it was the bat phone. And so I was like,
which
no.
I saw, and I was like,
it was like 8:01.
I said, I'm not answering this, and I know Holly won't either because she's sleeping.
So I let it go to the voicemail, and it like does the live voicemail thing now, which is
the transcript.
Super cool.
It is cool,
and you can hear it.
You can listen in.
Listen in. And it was this woman. She lives not too far from me, near in between Woodward and Granger, west of Madrid, and that kind of Bermuda Triangle there. Mm-hmm. And she was saying that they had found this dog on the road yesterday, and it had a bandana on that says, please do not feed me. I am a mega E for baby, I think is what it says.
Yeah.
And at first, I mean, I'm half asleep. So anyway, I tap into the call. I said, hey, this is Holly. Like, how can I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like, hey, I need to surrender my...
Yeah, like some a-hole at
2-year-old German Shepherd Husky mix that's not neutered and has aggression issues. Like, that can wait till
later.
Or
not at all.
Yeah. So I tapped in and I said, hey, what's going on? And she lives like kind of out in the middle of nowhere. A gravel road. I don't know. I don't think it's a dead end road, but pretty close. And they had asked all the neighbors around there if it was their dog. Nobody had seen it. Nobody knew who it belonged to. And it had this bandana on it. And so they hadn't fed it. And they'd had it, overnight. And she said it was kind of thin and she didn't know what to do. They called the sheriff. And because it was outside of normal business hours, it would have just been taken to the ARL or wherever Dallas County takes their stuff.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to do it. She didn't want to drop it off in the ARL drop box because it has this medical alert tag on it.
If not picked up, they would euthanize it for sure. Yeah.
And so, and she had called a couple other rescues and they couldn't help her. And somebody named Tracy referred her to us. She never said her last name, so I don't know who that was. But thank you, Tracy.
Thanks a lot.
So I said, all right. And frankly, I'm like kind of in a daze. And I am now, but I wasn't 12 hours ago very well versed on what Mega E is. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying? Am I not hearing
I'm not
you
sure
right?
I'm
like,
here. Are you
not
saying
getting
words?
Her vitamins or what are we talking about here? Like omega,
yeah.
But no, it's an esophagus issue that dogs can either be born with it or they can develop it throughout their life. And it makes it difficult for them to keep food or water down unless they are fed in an upright position or kept in an upright position after having been fed. And so they have a hard time keeping weight on. They have a hard time eating. Obviously, feeding requires more time and effort, one-on-one time, basically hand feeding your dog. So I met her over at Woodward, and in the meantime, I messaged my parents because my dad has a friend that lives in that exact area. And I said, hey, here's a picture of the dog. Could you call your friend and see if he recognizes it because he lives in the area? And my dad must have like activated his network or something.
Yeah.
Like satellites are syncing up and dial tone is.
He turned on the wrong signal.
Yeah. And he sends me a message saying, "Hey, I think it belongs here." So I went straight from where I met the woman to pick up the dog to that house to see if it belonged to them. And I was ecstatic. I'm like, great. This is going to
awesome.
be easy. This dog's going to get home within, half an hour. Like,
Yeah.
no big deal. And so I pull up to the house, and it's already a little sketch. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, there's banjos playing off in the background. And I'm like, what is up? And there's 2 cars in the driveway, and they have like 2 doors. Like one's like a back door, and one's like a porch door.
Sure.
So I knocked twice on both of them and waited and waited and waited, and nobody came to the door. And I'm like, hello, hello, hello. Nobody's coming to the door. I'm like, and it's by this time it's like 10 o'clock, 10, 15, a little after 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, should be up, I would assume. I'm not, but maybe
Yeah.
they should be. and so nobody comes to the door. So I bring her home, and I had a million things to do today. So thank dog, my parents took her and have been feeding her upright. And,
Yeah.
she's very hungry. She's not emaciated, but she's very thin. But that's common with dogs that have this issue.
Yeah.
But I think it's still maybe, she's definitely
It's been a while
underfed.
since she's
Yeah.
eaten something.
So mom and
Yeah.
dad are taking care of her. We've put it out on Facebook. We shared and shared and shared. And then Just Paws Gourmet.
Yeah, it's a dog treat and toy store in the Merle Hay Mall.
Right. She commented, the owner commented and said, that's one of our customers' dogs. They were just in here. Let me get a name for you. And I'm like,
Cool.
holy crap. What are the odds? So I call her, and all she has is the name that was on the credit card that they used. But I said, well, how do you know that this dog is theirs? Like, what's the deal? And she's like, no, I distinctly remember this dog. It was a woman. Her name's Karen Anderson.
Which may as well be Jane Doe, by the way, because you can't find her.
And they specifically brought her in with them to the place.
Yeah.
And they were there for a medical tag, which was on her collar. No owner tag, just this medical tag. And she said, I remember she was like late 20s, early 30s. Her boyfriend or husband or partner, whoever was with her, was like a tall, slim, cowboy-looking guy. And they had just moved back to like, how are you getting all these? Like, there was obviously a conversation.
Sure.
Well, this little dog has circles around its eyes where the fur has, like, it's gone. Like, it looks like she has an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
And the gal said, I remember everybody thinking she looked a lot younger than she actually was, that she looked like a puppy. But they said, no, she's 2 years old. She has this disease that she couldn't remember and couldn't pronounce anyway.
Yeah.
And anyway, I guess this whole conversation happened.
Something you remember.
Yeah. I mean, details stick.
Yeah.
So.
There kept being speculation that this dog was dumped, and it may very well have been. But when you just said that just now, that they went in specifically to this store and got a tag that said do not feed, to like say what it was, and doesn't have their information on it, why would you do that unless you were going to be away from the dog where someone could feed it? You know what I mean? Like, were they doing that because they were going to dump it and they cared enough that they were hoping someone would pick it up and take care of it? Or was it truly just because they wanted to make sure that no one handed it a table scrap?
Good point.
I don't know. But I just had this moment of like, what? Anyway.
Yeah, like, why would you put that on your dog?
The
to
bandana,
just be around?
The bandana I get, because then, if somebody reads it, they're like, oh gosh, I'm not going to give Scruffy a treat,
Yeah, but who's just handing out treats to random dogs that they come up on?
Me.
Oh, okay.
I bought a bag of treats when I was in Mexico, remember?
That's
feeding
true.
dogs left and right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I really don't know. I mean, you can speculate all you want, but
My thing is, it's been 12 hours. It's been 40 some hours since they found this dog.
mm-hmm.
It's been blasted all over social media, all over the lost
Yeah,
dogs
it's at 100
Facebook groups.
the post that we made, and this is not even the first post. It was posted, of course, by the people that found the dog, but we already had 152 shares.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
And there's shares on those shares.
right.
And I've shared it in every lost dog group that I'm part of, from here to
Exactly.
Timbuktu.
Right.
All of the surrounding where they were found: Woodward, Madrid, Granger, Boone,
Everywhere.
everywhere.
I posted
Des
all the
Moines,
Des Moines ones, yeah.
all the Des Moines ones. It's on Iowa Pet Alert. So I guess if someone was looking, and because it's such a specific search, Mega E, like
Yeah.
you just search Mega E lost dog,
Yeah.
like it just feels like if somebody is looking for this dog, they're not looking very hard.
Right. I don't understand. Or they're truly not on any sort of social media.
Yeah, that's
even
a
then-
possibility. But like,
They're on a cruise. We have had that
well,
happen.
there's somebody said that near the spot where the dog was found, there's an elderly couple down the lane, and they probably don't have social media. So
If it's not this person, I mean, it has to be this dog, because they met it. She met it. I know the lady that yeah. Weird. But what's the other layer? Remember about the giving away group?
more than one person, I think 3 or 4 people by now, said, we've seen this dog before a couple months ago on the SOS page, and she was looking to rehome it.
Yeah.
But they can't find the post now.
It's like been
Like
deleted.
it's been deleted or taken down or
Yeah.
whatever.
Because you can search that group, and I looked, and it's not.
And
on
if
there.
only one person had said that, I would be like, well,
maybe
you're
a
just not
phantom memory.
remembering it right.
Yeah.
But this is a very distinct dog with the eye situation and the Mega E issue. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of something that sticks out. So here we are. We've got this dog, and it's fine. We'll figure it out like we always do.
Yeah.
But just so everybody else is aware, it is against the law to dump dogs. And there are so many resources out there for these situations,
Right.
because here we are with the dog. We took it in because somebody called and said, we found this dog. Like,
Well, and now this dog it has a medical condition that we're gonna have to like spend a lot of money to like get the appropriate equipment for the dog and all this stuff if we need to. But it's like now it's just
right. If that is, yes. And it's not about the money.
no,
It's-
but
It's about, if we could have taken in this dog as a surrender dog, we could have had conversations with the owner, been like, okay, well, how are you feeding her?
so we
How
know
is she
something. Now
comfortable?
we're just having to start from scratch.
What extent is this Mega E at? Like, what stage? I'm
Right.
assuming that there's stages of this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how bad is it? How old is she? Has she been spayed? Do you have any vet records? Has she been vaccinated? All of these things. Like, all of this could have been just simply an easy handover with it. But regardless, dumping dogs is illegal. There are fines and penalties for that. And so I'm not on a witch hunt yet, but I would like to at least have a conversation
Right.
with the people that owned this dog. And I would like to return it to its owners if they are truly looking for her.
Seriously. I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot of trouble. And I hope it worked out. And I hope it's great that it landed with us and that we're able to take good care of the dog. And then, it's a happy ending. But
Yeah.
so far, I'm not. However, I had a dog that I found, and it took like 2 or 3 weeks before I found the owner. And I finally did. So it can happen, but it's just.
Well, I'm holding out hope. I mean, this is somebody's baby. Like, this is somebody's, and if you're overwhelmed and you just can't do it anymore, or you can't afford it, or whatever, fine. But still, let's have a conversation about it. So anyway, that was my morning. Well, that was the first part of the morning.
Yeah. Well, my morning, I too was up early because Barbie, one of our fosters, she agreed to help me out and take Lincoln Log to her house.
For fat camp.
He got fat at my house. I swear by open feeding, and for the most part, foster dogs are in and out quickly enough that it doesn't matter, like, if they don't quite catch on like my dogs have. And so he caught on that the food was never ending, and he sat at the buffet, you know, and just kept going to town. And so he's probably gained 10 pounds, which is outrageous. Maybe not. It might be 10. Yeah, he got fat. So anyway, she's going to put him on a diet for me, and he's already playing with her dogs and doing great. In the meantime, her coworker reached out and said, hey, we got my granddaughter this little puppy for Christmas, and she's absolutely terrified of it, and we don't want it anymore. Can you help me? And so she sent me a picture, and I go, oh my God, give me that dog. I'll make a swap, you know. So I sent her a big ol' lumbering Lincoln log, and I came home with a little 3-pound Chihuahua Terrier mix. I got the better end of this deal so far, I think.
Definitely.
But I've already got an application for that dog, so it's not going to be here very long. No. But anyway, she lives, you know, clear out in Stewart, and she's always traveling to me, so I was glad I could run over there and get the dog.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got home, I threw the dog in bed with Cam, who was still sleeping, and
Just like a peaceful little angel, just enjoying her Sunday morning.
yeah. I dropped the whole carrier in her bed, and I said, I got you something. See you tonight. You know?
Bye.
Bye. And then hopped back in the car and headed down to meet Holly because we had another mission to do. Well, first,
Though, we had bingo.
bingo.
Yeah, so if you haven't caught on, Holly is full-fledged bingo queen now. Calling bingo at Flat Tire Lounge in Madrid on Sundays at 2 and Tuesdays at 6. Please join us. So Kara got to witness my calling capabilities.
She's pretty funny, you guys. So I was cracking up.
They
There's
make it
some
easy.
Yeah. Bingo has a lot of built-in jokes to
Yeah.
it, you know.
For sure.
But it's pretty fun. I had a good time. So.
And bonus to calling bingo is I have control of everybody's attention and of an 85-inch big screen TV. So today we put some dogs up that are available for adoption. You know, we said this commercial break in between rounds is brought to you by Oh My Dog Rescue, and here's Kaboom, and here's Pan, and here's Luna, and here's whoever. I think we did like six or 8
of them,
dogs. And then we get to talk about Oh My Dog just a smidge. Obviously not to a annoying level.
Yeah,
but
just a little. I think everyone was very interested when you did your little PSAs.
Little bloop. If you want to become a foster, join us.
Yep, exactly. So that was cute. And then as soon as we got done with that, we
Oh my god.
dove into. Well, I think Holly would have quit rescue if today was her first day.
Kara got a request to do an assessment on a boxer.
A deaf boxer, by the way.
Deaf boxer, yeah. What's the story?
Well, so the dog itself has really bopped around. It's only 3 years old, and he has been in at least 2 different rescue groups that I know of and been returned multiple times. And he's just a deaf dog who has never been appropriately trained or socialized or experienced anything. I do think he probably spent a lot of time in his kennel before now, and so anyway, a friend of the rescue asked me to go over and just see if there's something we could do to help. And in the meantime, we have booked a training session with Knox Canine Training, and he's going to go over there next week. But I wanted to get her started on, you know, give her an idea of what to expect and what needed to happen. So
yeah, go on.
So
Take off.
We hit a moment of delirium when she's like, I don't want you to just come through the door, because
the owner
of the dog is like, I don't want you to just come through. The person that's caring for the dog right now, I should say,
right,
and who is now going to foster him.
Right.
Yeah, her sister had originally adopted this dog. Their dogs didn't get along, and so she dumped this dog off on her sister, and now here we are.
I'm going to guess this one's the older sister.
Yeah, probably.
What do you want to bet?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So anyway, we get there, and under the instructions of the current caretaker of this dog, she said, you can't really come walking through the door because he freaks out. And so I need to go take him out back, and then I'm going to have you guys come in and just sit on the couch and have a plate full of hot dogs. And we got there. We walked into the house. It was unlocked. We walked in the front door, and there's the couch right there. And on the couch is quite literally a little plate with a pile of cut up hot dogs on it. And Holly and we sat down, looked at each other, and absolutely
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Lost our shit. Holly's sitting there with a hot dog in each hand.
And we're just in some random person's house.
We don't know this woman at all. I mean,
I just walked in and sat down on their couch with a plate of hot dogs. I cannot stop.
Most people would have offered you a drink.
Oh, God. I'm
Maybe
like,
a plate of cheese and crackers.
no, I did not expect to be in this situation today.
So we're doing this. We're absolutely looning out.
Two wieners in your hands.
Holly's got a wiener in each hand. We're laughing so hard, I'm crying like I am right now. And I see the gal outside with the dog, and she's like waiting for us to like let her know that we're ready with them. And I like can't.
We're armed with hot dogs.
I had to put down a hot dog so I could text her
Oh, jeez.
and say we're ready.
Now your fingers are slimy.
Yeah, it's just stinky.
Oh, God.
Oh shit. So anyway, we're laughing, and then so this is a serious thing. This lady's like, having a hard time with this dog, and we're there to be professional.
Right.
Like, we're the owners of this rescue, and we are here to help. We're here to save the day. And so we get it together, she comes in the door, and the dog is
Oh, my God.
losing his mind.
Never seen anything like it.
I mean, and if you didn't know, you would think that the dog was aggressive, but he wasn't. First of all, he was hoovering up the hot dogs because we're chucking at him left and right, just throwing him hot dogs, because she told us that this is how you win over the dog, is by throwing him hot dogs. I'm like, well, I mean, okay, this isn't the best training,
like
but I'll do it,
pancreatitis.
Yeah. Like, again,
101.
do not give your dogs pork. So anyway.
Oh, and she has another little tiny dog.
Yeah.
So we got this big-ass boxer who's probably like, 55, 60 pounds?
Yeah, he's pretty thick, 60 pounds.
He's solid. He's a solid boy. And then she's got this little
fat toad
fat mop of a something.
He looks like a dachshund, like,
like a dachshund
woodchuck.
Karen mix.
He looks like a woodchuck.
He did.
Just like a woodchuck.
He did.
Like a groundhog.
And he's like going after the hot dog.
So he probably had 6 or 8 hot dogs, because we're not throwing them far enough out. We misjudged the.
Oh my God.
The
And this dog is like lunging and snapping, and its teeth are like, he's like spitting on me.
Yeah.
And this little tiny woman is
trying to hold him back.
Dog.
Well, and the it's not working. I mean, it's not a good idea, but it's like, well, we've already committed to this hot dog game, and so we use up all the hot dogs, and so then I start just like throwing random treats. I had brought a whole bag of like actual dog treats, and I said, we have got
thank dog, because
yeah. And all the while, we're just reinforcing this negative behavior. So this dog is jumping and snarling and snapping and screaming and barking and barking and barking, and we're just throwing more hot dogs at it. So it's just a circus.
Good boy.
Like,
Keep
yeah,
going.
this is great. I'm doing this crazy thing, and these strangers on my sofa are throwing me hot dogs. Like, oh my God. I'm like, we got a lot of work to do. So we had to take quite a while to get the dog calmed down enough that I could even start working with him. And the first issue, of course, was that there were 2 strangers double-fisting hot dogs on his couch.
The only thing that would have made that better is if they were like plunged in a tub of peanut butter.
Well, he would have really liked that. He probably would have killed us for him. So I have to start untangling and unraveling what's happening here, right?
Yeah, because I'm sitting over there like, immediate behavioral euthanasia.
Yeah,
That's
she's like, this dog is gonna die tomorrow. And I'm like, no. I'm not seeing any signs of aggression here. I'm seeing a dog that is like a screaming toddler throwing a tantrum, and that's 100% what he is.
Well,
and
I also have PTSD with dogs,
you've almost
I'm
been
already,
killed
like,
in the last
no.
12 months. So
No.
yeah, and
I might got killed by walking into a random stranger's house with a couch full of hot dogs.
I'll tell you
But
what.
I'm not gonna die at the end of a leash.
So, but what the big thing, and there was a few things that happened here, and we're really going to dive into some of like the training that we did while we were there, which was short and quick, but we did make some progress, I think, while we were there to like at least get started.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're going to dive into that on our next episode a little more, but
I mean, we were there for like an hour and 15.
yeah.
Hour and a half, maybe.
And we went from this dog lunging and attacking and like jumping all over us to sitting and doing I taught it a command while I was there.
Yeah.
So
it was doing the touch command.
yeah.
And she had his attention, and he wasn't barking.
Yeah. I
mean,
got him to stop barking.
Yeah.
And so we made some big progress. Now, it's not always that quick and easy if your personality isn't as such that you're confident with the dog and you feel like you are, I wasn't afraid of that dog and I knew what he needed to do. I could figure it out pretty quickly. It's difficult, and it'll be difficult for that foster and other people to handle that, which is why we're bringing in Clint to kind of teach the people, right? We got to teach the people, and then the dog part is easy.
Well, you got to remember that most people see a handful of dogs throughout their lifetime.
Right.
10, 20 dogs throughout your lifetime.
Yeah,
depending
that you
on how
interact with,
crazy
that
you
close.
are.
Yeah.
Right. We see dogs all the time.
Yeah.
You see dogs and work with dogs at a training and behavioral level. I mean, daily.
Yeah.
At dog parks. I mean, you see correction, you see well-behaved dogs, you see misbehaving dogs, and so on and so forth. So
right.
You have, I don't know, about 1,000,000 times more experience than a normal dog owner ever would.
Right.
So this is why training is so critical, and I can understand why when we push back on that, or when people want to surrender a dog and we say, I think you should see a trainer, and they don't want to do that because there's time commitment, there's cost to it, etc., blah, blah, blah. I understand why they don't want to because of those factors, but it can happen very quickly. You can get control over the situation very quickly. I mean,
like
one training session is going to make leaps and bounds. And then the second, the third, and you might be set.
Yeah.
It might take 14. I don't know, but I'm just saying.
And she already learned something today. Don't greet your psychopathic dog with 300 hot dogs, because that's what's causing him to be a psychopath when somebody comes through the door, because it's a hot dog machine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. That's not it. So we'll get there. I do truly believe in this dog. I think that eventually we may have to move him either after he gets through his training with Clint, either to me, which I don't really want because I've got far too much going on, or
I don't think that's a good idea.
Or a foster that can dedicate the time and is interested in that type of thing, you know. The other option will be is, we'll continue to fundraise and maybe send him to a board and train situation. Yeah.
Right. And it would be a specialized board and train.
Yeah, it's going to have to be someone
because a lot of places won't do a board and train with quote, air quote, aggressive behavior.
Right.
And I would assume that they would consider that aggressive behavior. I mean, even though it's not.
Yeah, it's not, but it looks like it. She said that she had a trainer come over, and trainer, I think, is being used loosely here.
Right.
But that was so scared of the dog that she left and wouldn't come back.
Right. After like 5 minutes.
I was like,
She was terrified.
No.
I was terrified. So we're sitting there. Oh, man. So we're sitting there after 5 minutes of this dog just going absolutely bonkers. And the woman is holding the leash, and Kara's like, yeah, go ahead and let the leash go. I'm like, what did you just say? No, we're not going to do that. She was like, no, he's fine. I'm like, Kara.
He was fine.
Yeah, he was fine. I was not confident in that at all, but I'm glad you specifically said that you would save me. So I was like, all right, well, this is on you then.
I could have and would have saved your life. And by the end, that dog was off leash and sitting on command and coming on command and not shouting at you. So
I trusted you. Yep. But I was a little nervous there for a minute.
Yeah. It was like we were on the front bow of the Titanic.
Oh my Lanta. Just I'm never gonna look at a hot dog the same ever again.
Well, I don't look at hot dogs usually anyway, but I took a picture of Holly double fisting those hot dogs though, and
Oh,
I
let me
don't.
see it.
It was we had to hurry and take this picture because I was like, oh my god, let me take your picture quick before she came in, and we had to be professional, be professional.
Oh, that's got to be the podcast cover, man.
Done.
Shit. Hot dogs for hot dogs.
Handheld hot dogs, name of the episode. Done. Yeah. So
Is that a purebred boxer?
yes.
Okay.
So the boxer itself, it was completely white with blue eyes, which is really common that you'll see that coloring is bred for recessive genes to get that coloring because they think it looks cool, and then they're either blind, deaf, or both.
Oh, fun.
And so a majority of deaf boxers are going to be that white coloring, and it's really common to hear and see of deaf boxers. It's stupid, but
Yeah,
it's just like
the woman hands us some toys, like Kara starts squeaking them. I'm like,
I know. At first
Nope.
I had to break myself
Yeah.
of like trying to call him and be like, "Come here, honey, good
Right.
job." You still have to talk through it because for us, when we say something, our body language reflects that anyway. So it's okay to talk when
you
you're
might be able to read lips. You never know.
training a deaf dog. Yeah, maybe. I don't think so. He was too crazy. He wasn't looking close enough. But
Side quest. Have you listened to the telepathy tapes podcast yet?
no.
Okay. So it's this doctor that's doing doctors, whatever. They're doing this study on kids with autism and
you mentioned
on the
this. I
spectrum.
need to listen to it.
And they have found that these kids have like telepathy capabilities only with specific people.
So like a
Like,
parent.
right. Like the one episode I listened to, it was this girl with her mom, and so they put one of them in one, and then they segregate them like in different rooms or whatever, and they show them pictures or numbers or whatever, and it's like 3-digit numbers, not just like 1 through 10 type thing.
Right.
And they are dead on accurate 95% of the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But she couldn't do it with her dad.
Ah.
So she's reading her mom's mind is what they're
Basically.
claiming, what
Yeah.
they're saying.
Or
there's-
just anticipating what
Yeah,
is
everybody's
happening.
going nuts over this podcast. And it is really well done. I'll say that.
Yeah.
They've really done a nice job. And they've gone to great lengths to make sure that the study is
Yeah.
not
Well-
just like a magic trick study, like a real study.
Last time I watched a documentary that was that convincing about like the effects of doing something like that, and like the realness of it, I stopped eating meat, and it's been
Oh, Yeah.
a year now, I think.
There you go.
Yeah. So sometimes I get a little too influenced. We were watching there's a documentary called Wild Wild Country, and it's about a
I've seen that
cult. And, the cult started out as this group of people who are all like-minded, which is what a cult is, and then they're sitting there and they're talking about how they're recruiting people to come into this cult. And I'm watching it, and my face is just like, yeah, yeah. And Marcus turns to me and he goes, "You would have joined." I'm like, yeah, I definitely would have joined. I get real jazzed up about a good documentary or like a good, like if somebody like gives me a good argument on something and I don't have any other reason to like believe otherwise, I'm like, yep, okay, I'm in.
They serve their Kool-Aid on ice.
I like iced beverages. See, I was in. And then you get to watching, and then everything that happens, you're like, my God, I'm sure glad nobody ever asked me to join this because I'd be dead now. But anyway, it was crazy. But yeah, I really want to listen to that. I'm kind of running low on personal podcast listening, so I need to get something different.
I need to catch that one that you keep talking about, the gals out in Seattle.
Yeah, I do really like them. And much like us, some of the episodes I'm like, wow, I learned a lot and that was really cool. And sometimes it's bitching sessions and sometimes it's stories of what happened. But
I feel like our listeners probably feel the same way.
yeah, I think sometimes we're on, sometimes we're not, but it's always entertaining because I feel like I know them now,
Yeah.
So anyway,
So back to the boxer then.
yeah,
Mind reading and
yeah.
lip reading and whatnot.
It's all about reading the body language of a dog. And
Well, you were saying we still have to talk it out, and I
yes.
think your body language when you say something out loud, even if they can't hear you, and your body language if you're just deadpan is completely different.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And I think because I was just being really assertive with what I wanted from the dog, and I was not backing down. And I think the difference between what that dog has experienced up until now was that,
Yeah.
like he was just like, oh, crap. Like,
Well, and she said that multiple times, and bless her heart, she's a very petite woman,
mm-hmm.
and she's a school teacher, so obviously a saint.
Yeah.
And I just think I don't think she's doing anything wrong and intentionally. I just think she's
like
and
by
she got
nature
this dog
she's
dumped
just
on
gentle.
her. Like,
yeah.
this isn't her problem.
And she's been researching and looking things up and trying to do all the right
Oh
things.
yeah, she's taught it. Well, she had signs. She had
Yep.
the sit sign and the good boy sign and the stop signal and
yeah. So she's been working. She just
she's trying.
She's really trying, and I think that with some direction from us and some direction from Clint and I do think that there is hope for this dog. It's not with her. That's not its forever home, but I do think that
It was never supposed to be, though.
No. Yeah,
Right.
She just got dumped this dog by her sister, and so her sister had adopted this dog from another rescue, and when she called them to say, basically, my dogs are trying to kill this dog, and it's not going well, and this dog was so beaten up by the other dogs at the other house that it took days for it to recover once it got dropped off with the sister, so it needed out of there, sure.
Right.
But when she called this other rescue, they said, well, if you return the dog, we're going to euthanize it. We don't have anywhere to put it, so too bad.
Excellent.
So then the sister felt this obligation to help, but then had no support. So she did what she could on her own, which was her best, and she's made some progress, but I think we've lost a little ground because she got overwhelmed, and so we're going to start again and see what we can do. So as a part of why we are able to send out Clint and pay for this training and any additional medication that this dog needs is really the launch of something that we just put out today on social media. It is a fund that it lives separately from kind of our regular vet work funds and money. And we have named it in honor of our friend Chris Wells, who, if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to the episode previous to this. But we call it the Chris Wells Memorial Mutts Fund, and it's for dogs that are difficult to place, special needs, or just need a little bit more attention, time, money, resources, and that we can really focus on making sure that that dog has a success story in the end, or at least give it a college try.
Yeah.
So we made a little Chris Wells seal. I haven't pushed it out yet, but I'm working on a page on the website that'll kind of explain what this initiative is. If you want to make a donation to this specific initiative outside of just a regular donation to us, you can say, I'd like to donate towards the Chris Wells Memorial Mutts Fund. This fund was originally kind of the brainchild of us and a really, really special donor who has believed in us since day one, who knew Chris as well, and she had asked if we'd be willing to kind of create something like this in her honor, and so I thought
we had talked about.
We had talked about it already.
The stars all aligned.
It did. It's like I knew it when she brought it up. I said, "Well, I've already got an idea. I know what to do," because we had this kind of thought as well, and so she kind of helped get that fund started and to keep it going as we'd like to for years to come. We're going to need people to jump in and help with it as well. But
yeah, I think special vet cases like this mega
esophagus. Yep.
We're going to need what they call a Bailey chair.
Yep.
It's basically a high chair for a dog.
Yep. And this will be a case that if we end up having to keep this dog, it's going to be a Chris Wells dog for sure.
And it's not something you can just order off Amazon and it'll be here tomorrow. Like, you have to take specific measurements. There's specifically made for that dog. It's out of California. I have no idea what they cost. It doesn't matter because we have to have it.
Yeah, we're going to get one.
Now we
have to know what they cost.
Funds for it.
Yeah, so we're going to look into that and until, we'll wait out our 10-day stray hold basically, and then we're going to have to dive into...
I don't think anybody's coming for this dog.
I don't either. Yeah.
They would have by now.
Probably by Monday night if we haven't heard anything.
The other reason I say that, just to double down on that, is I know a lot of people in the area. I'm from the area. And I've shared with everybody in that radius. I mean,
Yeah.
If somebody knew that name
It would have
or
been
recognized that
immediate.
dog, it's a pretty small rural Iowa community as
Yeah.
it is.
Yes.
Somebody would have said something.
Yeah.
So to me, they either were passing through or they just moved here or
Well, they did
whatever,
say
or
they just moved
they
back to the area, but something's going on
Yeah.
that they haven't made any connections yet. They don't have a job.
right.
Like nobody's working. They don't not working anywhere.
Yeah. And this is really, again, it's such a specific thing. Like, if somebody talks about their dog that has Mega E, like, you're not going to forget about that.
Yeah, you're gonna ask what is megaesophagus. What
And
does that
s-
mean? You're
yeah.
gonna Google it. You'll remember
And that's
that.
something any dog owner that, truly loves and cares for their dog, obviously, and a dog with special needs, like, they're going to be talking
They're
to
gonna talk about
friends about that, family about that, people at work about that,
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we've had 150 shares, which has hit, even if people saw it and didn't share it, they still saw it.
Yeah.
We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and nobody said anything.
Right.
What?
I know.
What?
I know. I'm not feeling super hopeful, but I hope we're wrong.
I hope I have a better update in 2 weeks, but
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, if we do end up having to take in and care for that dog, that'll be on our list of things that fund will help take care of. That's going to be a little above and beyond our day-to-day operations. So we're pretty excited about being able to do that, and we're not going to do it on a huge scale. It'll be kind of 1 or 2 at a time as needed. We'll take in specific cases when we have the funds and the ability to do so, but that's kind of the goal. So
on the Bailey Chair website right here, it says the proceeds from your purchase will be used to donate Bailey chairs to qualifying shelters and rescues.
well, let's beg.
I'm down for that. If you are a 501c3 shelter or rescue and would like to be considered for a donated chair, please read the information, blah, blah, blah.
Done.
Done. On it.
Okay, very good. That's your to-do list for tomorrow. Okay, well, really good. Yeah, so crazy, crazy rescue day. What else has been happening, though? We have had several intakes. A whole situation.
Sorry,
I
I was just reading that form really
knew
quick.
you got in deep. So she's zoned
Squirrel.
out. I was
What are
going
we
to do
talking
the
about?
watch me symbol that we learned today about the dog.
Intakes.
Intakes, yeah.
9.
9.
9 intakes. We had Huckleberry, who was a dog that, guess who took in? Situation ship.
Yeah.
Natasha.
Shit show Natasha.
Something about Tennessee or some shit.
Somebody knew somebody who knew somebody that found this stray dog that
in Tennessee
was
and
like mangy looking and
Yeah.
had been dumped, and so they brought it.
drove it to Iowa. from
Drove it to
Tennessee.
Iowa.
What are we doing?
I don't freaking know. There's so many dogs in
It's
need all over the
hilarious.
country and so few resources. Like that's the shit that happens. But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but yeah, of course.
This dog really needed her though.
Yeah.
It has
perfect.
some
A skin infection.
nasty skin infection,
Yeah.
which is getting cleared up. But
Yeah.
I don't even. What kind of dog is it? Do
It's
we
a
even
lab.
know?
It's just a lab. I think.
Okay.
Black lab, maybe houndy mix.
Weird.
Yeah.
Fiona.
Fiona, Toad, Pez, Gadget, and Don Lino.
Oh yeah.
All of those are
Oh God.
8 to 10 week old pit bull puppies who also came in with Coral, which is just shy of a 1-year-old female pit bull. We received a message from our friends at Always and Forever Animal Sanctuary, and they had seen a post where more than 50 pit bulls had been found living on a small property, fenced in. Some of them were tied up alone. The rest were kind of running in a pack. There were pregnant mamas, puppies, adults. All of the adults were covered head to toe in scars. They had been absolutely fighting for food. They'd been fighting to survive. At first, they thought it was a dog fighting ring.
That's what I thought.
But it wasn't. It was literally just a hoarding, like overbreeding of dogs, and they had to fight to eat. And they're all actually quite friendly and have gotten along with every other dog. Like I'm following along with the other rescues that took in some of the adults, and they're all dog friendly. Like there's nothing like they're not mean or like fighting dogs. They're quite literally just they were starving and trying to fight for their lives.
The pictures that they sent over is what got me, and I don't remember when it was, but I was in a mood. just emaciated. I mean,
And they're like tied up with this like
so
huge
thin.
collars around them.
Huge ass collars with big ass chains and the links, like the carabiner
Yeah.
things. Just completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to weigh down here? It's like a 20-pound dog that should be 60 pounds.
Yeah. A lot of really, really sick, neglected, underweight dogs. So anyway, we took in 5 young puppies just because we knew that we could help reduce the number of dogs that were coming out of that place that they needed to deal with by placing, and that's an easier placement for us as a small puppy rather than a full-size pit bull, because that's always a hard placement for us. And then we did take the one adult girl who's super sweet. But the whole miracle of the whole thing was, and I didn't know this because it was like during my break from work and I had just like never looked at any sort of news or anything. But apparently the entire state of Kansas was completely shut down by an ice storm. Like, no roads were open. It's still pretty bad, I guess.
Yeah, Kara's like, why is it taking so long for these dogs to get here? And Craig was like, well, the entire state of Kansas is down.
And
the
I was
entire state of
I was like,
Missouri
what do
is
you mean?
down. Like, what do you want us to do, Kara? Want us to ice skate them up there or what? And she's like, oh, okay.
Whoopsie.
Yes, please be safe.
He literally sends me a screenshot of like the DOT website that's just red. It's like, do not travel.
Don't do
like,
it.
Here I am, like being an asshole about getting these dogs up here, and they're just, quite literally stranded in snowpocalypse. So anyhow, but he made it happen. There was a small window of one day that they kind of had the roads cleared.
Yeah,
and then
still kind of sketch.
it was sketchy. There was one part of the trip where they had to go like 10 miles an hour to get through some roads, but they got him here. And then as they were getting back home, another snowstorm was starting. So we wouldn't have gotten him out of there in a long time if they hadn't made that window. So the fact that he made that happen, it was almost an 8-hour trip. They had our 6 dogs. And they had multiple stops at multiple places. So I think they had...
And then they branched off.
Yeah, they branched off, and some of them went some ways. And he had that all organized. It all went off without a hitch, and it was only a half an hour behind what he anticipated for schedule with all of that and the weather. Crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Yeah, that was
His
wild.
brain works different.
That's what I told him, and he sent these emojis like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "That's a compliment.
It's a good thing.
That's a compliment."
He's done this so much. He must have, I wonder what he did before he did this. I bet he was in like analytics or something.
I don't know. He said he had
Spreadsheet.
worked or done a lot of volunteering, like I think within his church, or maybe worked at the church or something. But like, I don't know. Whatever he did,
Yeah.
or maybe that's just how his brain works, and he found his like calling in doing this, and that's been that,
Yeah.
So it's really cool. But anyway, they're all here. Everybody's good. Everybody's pretty healthy. The adult dog is a little underweight, but she's fine. The one has a cherry eye, which sometimes we'll get puppies in that are young dogs that have that cherry eye.
Well, one of the Chihuahuas that came from Calhoun County had it.
My friend's dad adopted that one eventually, but and it's essentially that third eyelid or inner corner of the dog's eye will basically like invert itself and pop out of the eye, and it looks really scary. It's like a big red bubble. And really, to repair, it's no big deal. They just do it while they're under for anesthesia for a spay already. Tuck it back in, kind of tack it with like a stitch, and then it stays inside the eye, and it's typically fine. Occasionally, the surgery will fail, and it'll have to be fixed, but we've had good experiences with that. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Nothing to be worried about, or no reason to not look at a dog or adopt it.
Yeah, super cute, and we'll get
get
that
it
taken
fixed
care of.
before it goes.
Yeah,
anyway.
of course. Yeah.
Another thing that came out of this rescue was an idea born out of irritation and
Pure
frustration.
anger.
So, as it most always happens when these situations come up, there's always dogs left on the property.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that is legally possible, or if it's just physically not possible to get all of the dogs
Like
off.
they didn't have anywhere to take them.
Or if the owners are being assholes and just going to face certain no consequences, essentially.
Yeah.
Because
one of the dogs, the Coral, they at first told us that they couldn't get her, and they were going to have to go back and beg the owners. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, what are you talking about? They said, because there was like, the post originally said there was over 50 dogs or close to 50 dogs, whatever. And so me
Thinking
thinking, oh my God, they're in it. $50. That's a lot of dogs. I mean,
Yeah.
our highest is 17,
Yeah.
and that's a coordinated effort with notice.
Yes. Yeah.
You're talking 50 pit bulls.
That you have to figure out right
You got to
now.
figure out
Of
right
course
now.
we're going to help.
Oh
Yeah.
my! So we jump into action. We've put it on our post. We're taking in dogs that are hard to place,
Yeah.
that need vet care, that are going to come in with issue. Assumed that they would come in with issues.
Right.
Thankfully, they really haven't. But a lot of times with pit mixes, you have the stereotypical issues
Yeah.
from hoarding situations where they have aggression issues, food resource issues,
Yeah.
resource guarding issues, and on top of all of the health issues
Right.
that they're going to have. So, we're jumping, and then you find out, oh, well, there's like 30 left on the property,
They
or
only
20
got-
left on the property. They got 30, and there's 20 left. Whatever it was, I don't
I think
care.
they only got 20. And I'm like, what do you mean? Where are the other ones?
So what about the other 30? And they're like, well,
They're still there.
no answer. And I'm like, this really pisses me off. It just makes me really mad because
At the same time, Holly and I both commented, as we do, what police department do we need to call?
right. And so we kind of had this idea of making a Mutt Mafia like phone gang,
Yeah.
like a side gang
Yeah.
that's
The bat.
with phones,
The Warriors.
not guns,
what-
but phones.
What if, you had one or two angry ladies calling about some dogs left on a property? You don't care. But if you've got,
Like 200 of
Yeah.
us. I mean, there's 200 people in that group.
if everybody made the phone call,
If half of them made a phone call.
something's going to get done.
And how long does the phone call take? Especially if we post in the group, you need to call this phone number, ask for this person or this department, and I want you to say this.
Yep.
You're talking a minute out of your day
Yeah.
for free
Uh-huh.
to get something done now.
Yes.
I think it's very doable.
I do too. So situations like that, and then even like if there's a law that is,
Yeah.
sitting that needs to be passed, that's really going to make a big
Call
difference.
this representative.
Yeah.
Say this.
Yes.
This is what, and I mean, obviously we'll explain what it's for, so you're not just blindly, advocating. Obviously always be educated when you advocate. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
There's my
Put it on a
disclaimer.
t-shirt. But yeah, she said that. I was like, I'm about to do that because I was mad. I still don't know. I think they got a lot more dogs off the property since, based on what I'm seeing in some of the additional follow-up posts. But I still don't know.
It's not their fault either. It's the law, and whatever law they're working under. It's the local enforcement. That's the issue. It's not the people that we're working with.
No.
Issue. It's not the rescues that they're obviously doing what they can and they're doing their best. But
Right. No, it's that they're not getting any support from the folks who can actually make it happen and actually get the dogs off the property, and just super frustrating. So, and the other thing is why wasn't this a huge news story?
yeah.
It's nowhere. I couldn't find it anywhere on local news. I couldn't find anything about
Well,
it.
it is Oklahoma. They're they're right behind Texas, and their situationship with
Yeah.
hoarding cases and stray dogs.
Yeah, they don't care.
It's a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really see stray dogs in Iowa. I mean, here and there, metros, that kind of thing.
Not really though. I don't know the last
Not-
time I saw a stray dog.
Yeah.
Really,
No.
Here.
In Oklahoma and Texas,
everywhere.
whole nother ballgame.
Yeah.
And nobody gives a shit. Because what are they going to do?
Yeah, they don't care. There's no one to help anyway.
It's like trapping stray cats.
Yeah. Cool.
It
Now what
takes
do we do with this
work.
cat?
I mean, it takes dedication. It's not like you're just driving down the road. You're like, oh, there's a dog. Open your door and it jumps in.
Yeah.
No.
So,
Anyway.
Yeah.
So if you want to be part of the phone, we got to come up with a better name for this.
Yeah.
Mafia. I was trying to think of something earlier. My brain's fried today. I'm done.
Yeah, I can't.
Anyway, it's a phone gang. Ring phone.
I'm thinking mobile phone, like a mobile phone, like mobile mutt.
Mafia mutt ring. Mafia mobile.
Yeah, something.
The mobile mafia.
The mobile mafia. Done. The mobile mutt mafia. Done. Somebody write that down.
On it.
Yeah, so that's a thought. It's an idea.
The
Something
MMM. So I was looking at our group chat, and that's because I was like, I want the logo to be like a bulldog, or like a something with a spike
collar with like a
with
mean.
a cell phone, but like a rotary dial cell phone, or rotary dial phone.
Yeah, with like the little cord.
Yes, like a Scruff McGruff, like a you know.
I like it.
If anybody wants to design that, that's what I have in my head. I wonder if you're better at this AI stuff than I am. Is that something that AI would? Can they draw pictures for you?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's built
I'm
into
so
Photoshop and
behind on all
Illustrator
this
now.
shit.
You can just go into Illustrator and say like create this, and it's never quite right, and it's always a little freaking weird, you know. But it gets you close enough to like get an idea, and then you kind of go from there.
Or something that you could send to somebody and say something close to this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Happy to pay designers and what do you call these people that do this stuff?
Yeah, graphic designer.
There you go.
No, that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
Update on the Chris Wells thing real quick. We did get several phone calls, text messages, Facebook Messenger messages from people that listened to the Chris Wells episode and thanked us for doing that and how much it meant to them. One person in particular was Chris's son, Kellen, and he called the bat phone and I answered it. And
I mean, it was like an hour after we put the episode out too. Like he listened to it right away, which is cool.
And he was very grateful, and he kind of choked up, and so I choked up, and then it was kind of a mess for a hot minute. But anyway, he said that they had found his mom's Chris's records, and that there was 1,683 dogs saved or rescued by Fluffy Butts Rescue.
Within those records.
Within those records. And I said, oh my gosh, Kellen, that's great. Thank you so much I will let Kara know and we'll update our podcast listeners and whatever. I said, but you do know that there were like a lot of dogs that probably didn't make it to
the books.
Yeah. Like, you know, the dead Junos and of the of the world. He goes, yeah, I know. It was definitely more than that, but that's what can be backed up.
Yeah. The official number as reported to the Iowa Department of Land Stewardship. So very cool. I knew it had to have been into the thousands. Yeah. And I'm sure it was many, many more.
Because you had said on the podcast it was like 150-ish a year, you know, and it was like 20 years. So, it's, you know, well over 2,000 dogs.
Yeah.
And then Carrie sent a message and said, and I didn't know this, you didn't know this either.
No. She goes, you missed one big thing.
The reason that Fluffy Butts got started is because her and Carrie were part of these other rescues.
Like, she had 3 or 4 other rescues?
Yeah, and they had been kicked out of them.
Which, I believe it.
And I was like, wow, that does not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. That Chris Wells would get kicked out of something, some group. Weird.
Can you imagine you're like, oh, we got this great foster. She's like really good with dogs. And then she just starts telling you what she thinks. Like,
shocker.
And just tries to upright the apple cart, you know, and you're like, hold on, you got to go. Like, this isn't going to work. So finally Chris is like, okay, I'll just do it right.
I'll just do it myself. You want something done right? You got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to give those updates.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad I forgot I missed that last one, so that's good.
Oh, do you want to tell everybody about our event at Up Down? Yeah,
we had a really great time. We had lots of our volunteers and lots of our supporters, and then some folks who just happened to wander in to Up Down this last week. And we had an awesome fundraiser. I don't have the official numbers just yet, but essentially they gave us 100% of the token sales. So the sale, you put money in the machine, you get tokens to play these arcade games. And that was donated back to us. So we'll get a check from that, which is super cool. And
I'm going to guess it's probably like around $400.
Yeah, a few $100 probably.
I think everybody put in about $20 for coins and whatnot.
Yeah. And what I really liked about it, though, is a lot of people that had just walked through the door that didn't know about us really took the time to come up and find us and ask questions, and were really interested.
And see Lincoln Log.
Yeah, we had Lincoln Log there, and I knew he would love it. I looked at the list and I was like, I don't really see any other dogs that I would think would do okay in an arcade. Oh, Lincoln Log. He was ready to set up a little pup tent in the corner and just live there. He's like, this is awesome. And then there's this picture I took and I posted it on our Facebook of him and Holly playing skee ball.
He was so in it, man.
Yeah, he was so interested.
He's like, why do you keep throwing it that way?
Yeah,
throw it to me.
Throw it to me. And she throw it up the thing, and he put his little paws. He's so short to the ground too, so he was perfect. He put his little paws up on the front of the skee ball thing, and he didn't go try and run after it or anything.
Well, he'd get winded if he tried to run after anything. You had to carry him down the stairs.
Well, he was
not
scared.
even up the stairs. You had to carry him down the stairs.
He was scared of those stairs. He did the other stairs himself, okay? But yeah, he put his little paws up there and just very diligently watched the game being played, and it was adorable. He loved it, and he really loved getting to meet all the people. He loved every single person that walked in. He was not afraid of tall men, people he'd never seen before.
It's great socialization.
Oh, he did so awesome.
And the flea came.
The flea came, who, once I get, actually, I just need to send her the contract. I keep forgetting. But he has been adopted, but technically he is still an Oh My Dog dog. And then we had a couple of other dogs that came as well, just to kind of round out the bunch, and that was fun.
Yeah,
it was great.
They all had a good
So
time.
the gal who did it for us said, we'd love to have you back again when it's warmer outside. So,
fun.
So she's going to have us back. We're going to set a date in the spring or summer.
They have great pizza.
That pizza was good.
You can buy it by the slice. It's kind of like Fong's
Fong's.
meets arcade.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I played Paperboy, which I haven't played in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Harder than I remember.
Yes.
I played Dr. Mario. We played Pac-Man.
Yep.
And Skee Ball. I played Mrs. Pac-Man.
I don't do very well with arcade games.
Dr. Kong. Or, no. Not Dr. Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Dr.
Thank you.
Kong.
You knew
was
what I meant.
That was later, after his video game years. He got his PhD.
They didn't have Mario Kart, though. At least I didn't see it. Oh, we played foosball, but hockey.
That was really fun.
That was actually pretty fun.
I my coordination and poor motor skills.
And that was early on in the night.
Yeah, I wasn't even drunk at that point. And yeah, I was trying to do the thing, and it's basically foosball, but they were little hockey players, and it's so adorable.
It was
fun. Yeah, that was fun. I would play
wing it.
I really hate games and video games and stuff like that, but I really liked that game. That was fun.
Yeah.
And skee ball, of course, I like skee ball. But
I don't think we have any events coming up anytime soon, but
no, nothing officially, but we did officially unite our party planning committee, and so we're gonna pick out dates for and start researching locations for. We're gonna have at least
quarterly stuff, right?
Well, we want to do quarterly stuff with our volunteers, and then my goal is to have just at least one big fundraiser event this year. It'll probably be towards the end of the year, fall maybe.
Yeah.
But
not last year, but the year before we did the bingo night.
People keep asking for the bingo night back.
I know, and I am an excellent bingo
You
caller.
can't call your own bingo.
Yes, I can.
No.
Yes, I can.
No.
I can't play my own bingo.
You can't. We have to walk around and schmooze. Do you remember we could barely
I disagree with this statement.
You're not calling the bingo. Yes, you would be the best woman for the job, but we're going to have to bring in somebody else. I think we should have the lady who we were on their podcast that's on the radio do it.
Oh.
She could MC, what's her, Kim Chase? Yeah, Kim Chase. We were on her podcast, and she has a good voice. She could maybe MC, and then we could have somebody else do the calling of the bingo or whatever, or find somebody, I don't know, get a celebrity bingo callers.
Yeah.
Somebody different for each round.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then we could have breed bingo.
Yeah, dog breed bingo.
Because we did trivia. No. Yes? No.
Yeah, it wasn't bingo. It was like a
Rock and roll. No.
it was bingo. No, it was dog breed, and we made little.
It was bingo, but it wasn't.
It was dog
numbers.
breeds.
It wasn't all dog breeds.
Yeah,
The last round was
Yeah.
dog breeds.
Yes.
But what were the first rounds?
just regular?
The days are short and the year. No. How does that go?
I don't know.
The days are long, but the years are short.
And my memory is even shorter.
Right.
I don't. Who knows what we even did
Brilliant.
yesterday? Oh my goodness, I'm having fun again. We had a few days where we weren't having fun, but I'm having fun again.
Yeah.
It's a little wild, but
I don't even know where I'm at today yet anymore. Now.
I'd like to go to bed.
Yeah. I really need to get on a better sleep schedule.
Yeah.
Oh! We didn't talk about any of our adoptions. Did we finish our intakes?
Yes.
Did we did?
No, the last intake, I guess, that I picked up today was that little puppy. I didn't say its name. You ready?
It looks like Coochie.
Well, it's because you don't know how to
Takuchi.
spell Tchotchke.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my gosh, isn't that cute? A little tiny chihuahua named Tchotchke.
It looks like a Tourette's on
Well,
paper.
the word tchotchke is strange, but it catches your attention. You're like, what is that? And then you Google it and you're like, oh, a tchotchke. I got it.
I
just
want to
didn't
hear
really-
somebody call about this dog.
I'm interested in.
Okay, but more importantly, adoptions.
Yay!
Okay.
Okay, this is how we're going to wrap up this episode because we are a giant side quest today. Okay, let's wrap her up with our very exciting adoptions.
Well, Casper, which was the last dog that we had taken from Chris.
Yep, so the
was
final
finally
fluffy
adopted.
butt was
Little
adopted.
white, obviously, Casper. Little white,
Hideous.
fluffy.
It was a Bichon, and it looked like it had gotten hit in the head by a frying pan. I think this is the ugliest dog we've rescued, and finally he found his family. Yeah.
I have to go back
His
and
head
look at
was
the
misshapen,
pictures.
and his mouth was like his
I'm
tongue.
still
hung-
stuck on Bindi Irwin, but yeah. Okay.
Well, Bindi Irwin was ugly because we hated her. Like she was really bad. She killed your chicken on your birthday and all that stuff.
Hendrix.
Hendrix was a doodle and in and out pretty quickly.
That was a puppy-ish.
Yeah, pretty puppy
from
doodle.
Marissa's situation.
Yep, she showed up with a doodle last time, 2 weeks, and then it got adopted right away. So in and out.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis
Named
was
by a 6-year-old.
named by a 6-year-old. Absolutely love it. The brother from another litter of the flea, who actually the flea's official name now, I should say, is Tugboat.
Does it have an official name?
Yes, it's Tugboat.
Are we sure about that?
Everybody knows now it is Tugboat. There are other names we call him sometimes, but he is officially Tugboat. But
Did you know that you can go to court and have your last name completely removed if you can prove that the general public can recognize you by your first name alone?
I could do that.
Cher did it. Yeah. Anyway.
Kara. Put it on.
Fun fact.
Put it on an album cover. Kara and Holly. We don't need anything else. Yes. So Bruce Willis got an application while he was still with me before he got neutered. Then he got neutered, and then he went to his foster home. And he attached immediately to us, attached immediately to his foster. He's going to attach immediately to his new family who he went home with today. Adorable little dog.
Yeah.
Easy peasy in and out. But
Most importantly.
not least.
Oh, this just breaks my heart.
It's not Kaboom, though, just to burst everyone's bubble. But anyway, it was
our boy, Roy.
Roy boy.
Oh,
Fine.
Roy.
He's out the door.
Okay, so Roy is very special to me, and everybody thought he was going to be a foster fail.
I didn't because I heard the inner monologues.
He was one of the chihuahuas that came out of Calhoun County, that hoarding situation up there. And so we got him in September, and he was supposed to go to you, by the way. Do you remember that? Yeah.
What did I do?
I always get stuck with your dogs, and then I adopt them.
I did. That's how I got booped.
No, I didn't adopt this one, though. And then he got adopted by a lovely woman up in northern Iowa, and like a week later, unfortunately, she
Severely
discovered
allergic.
She was very allergic to him, and she already had another dog.
So
But
she had no
when
idea.
I picked him up, it was very obvious from the week before. Like,
She
this
was
woman
suffering.
is suffering. So I brought him home, and anyway, he's been with me for a hot minute. This lovely woman, and here's the irony. This is how signs work.
We believe in this.
I'm not religious. I'm a more spiritual person. If anything, I'm agnostic at best. And so when I see signs like this, I have to take them.
Yeah.
So the gal that applied for Roy, sweet woman, lives in Minnesota, has a son, no other dogs. Her last dog died just a few months ago, and she told me the story. This was 2 weeks ago. She told me the story when we were talking about Roy, and it was very sad, and it was a hard call she had to make, and it was suffering, and her back legs had stopped working, and this and that, and then she got pneumonia, and all this blah, 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 blah. And so this morning, when I got the bat phone call, I messaged her. I said, hey, I'm responding to an emergency, but I will be back by this time. What's your ETA? Everything was going to work out fine. So when she got to my house to adopt Roy, she's like, so what was the emergency this morning? I said, well, there's this dog, and it's got mega E, and blah, blah. She goes, that's what my dog died from. I'm like, no way. She's like, yeah. I'm like, now that you say that, now I'm like,
It makes
everything's
sense.
clicking. Like,
Yeah.
the hamster's back on the wheel.
Yeah.
Things are starting to fall into place. And
But could there have been any better sign that she was the
what
right
the
one?
hell?
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
And
would
she
you like to go
drove
for 2? No.
right. Take this one too. Did she drove from Minnesota?
3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours
Out
away.
of state, right?
Yeah.
Or-
And I'm, up north, so
yeah.
holy cow. But she's just the nicest lady ever. And she, and I had sent her videos of Roy interacting with my dad because he has, like, with intruders,
Yeah,
stranger
stranger
danger.
danger.
But my dad, I mean, he's seen my dad, I don't know, 25 times, and he does the same thing every time. So I took video of it and I sent it to her. I said, just
This is what,
preparing you, like, this is what's going to happen. Don't be scared. And she's like, oh, no, he's still wagging his tail. He's fine. I'm like, okay, she knows how to read a dog.
Yep. That's big. That's good.
And then, my dumbass. So I love this dog so much. So last night I'm getting the adoption contract ready and all of his paperwork, and I got the bag ready, and I made a baggie of his food so she can transition off the food that he's been on, and some treats, some homemade treats, and of this and that, and flea and tick. I mean, the whole works.
Yeah.
But Roy gets, we had gotten donated these tubes of, what was it? Like Fresh Pet, but not Fresh Pet.
Yeah,
but
it was like a wet, like
whatever it
natural
is.
dog food
Yeah,
roll.
So we froze it. I froze it, and I've been feeding Fosters off of it.
I finally
ever
just
since
got
then.
rid of it.
We got like a whole ass pallet of this stuff.
Yeah, and I only have a small freezer, so most of my freezer space has been these dog food rolls for
Yeah.
like months.
I
so.
put boxes of this shit in my friend's freezer. That's how much we had.
Yeah.
So anyway, I use that as a topper for Roy's food because I don't like to feed my Fosters my homemade diet because I know wherever they're going to land, they're
Not gonna have
not
that.
going to have that.
Yeah.
There's no way for them to have that because it's very, personal.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this poor woman, she must have thought I was an idiot. And so I thawed out the tube yesterday so I could show her how to cut open this tube and dump it into a container and how I cut it up for him and how he likes his squares of shit and how much to put on how much.
Oh my god. I equate this to, though, you psychopath, that Holly and I don't get to do adoptions as much anymore because we have so many really awesome Fosters that we're usually dealing with the shit shows and the early morning
Boxers,
calls and
hot dogs
and the double fisting hot dogs. We're very busy, so we can't be bothered. No, we
can't be bothered.
we can't be bothered
We're
to
over
actually
here
do adoptions. Freaking
holding hot dogs.
holding hot dogs. Somebody's got to hold the hot
Oh,
dogs.
Jesus. That's
The
gonna be
hot
the name
dogs
of
are
the
in
episode.
our hands. So anyway, but we don't get to do as many adoptions because we don't foster as many dogs that are easily adoptable, right? Like if they,
Right.
they sit. Like for me, I feel like I always get
behavior kids.
and
Yeah.
so anyway, that Chihuahua that just came in, I'm like, I'm keeping this thing. I want to have an adoption. I have not had the gratification of being able to sit down with someone and hand them their dog and see the joy and take the picture and do all the things. I haven't got to do that in a hot minute because I'm always putting out fires. So
I really can't believe Roy took this long though.
no, it's just because
It's not like I didn't take pictures.
it's just like Lincoln Log, though. It's not a dog that someone was looking for.
Yeah.
So they had to stumble upon it. And it just sometimes takes a little while.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
that.
I didn't market him that hard either, but
No.
you know.
Well, you did after he ate your entire house.
Oh man, I told her that too. I said, "Listen, he will get into anything. He has destroyed numerous houseplants of mine. He always gets in the trash if you don't shut the door, the bathroom trash. If you
Yeah.
don't shut the door, you just cannot leave stuff because he came from a hoarding situation.
Yeah, he's scrounging.
And he will eat anything. He'll eat dirt. He'll eat leaves. He'll eat ashes. He'll eat anything. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
So anyway, she sent some text messages tonight, and he's settling in. I sent all of his toys with him and all of his things, and he's doing all right.
Poor
and I
lady
made
had to,
sure. I said that was one of the first questions. I was like, "Where do your dogs sleep with you typically?" She's like, "Oh, in bed." I'm like,
Okay.
'Cause
Pass.
he had that was he was going to be under the covers,
Oh,
whether
yeah.
you wanted him to be or not.
Yeah.
No negotiating on that.
Yeah, we have our little Dolores, who was my our initial foster fail from my dog was she's like evil about sleeping under the covers. Like she sleeps under Cam's covers, but Cam gets up earlier than us, usually on during the week and on the weekends, because she goes to school early and then she works early at the dog park. So then Dolores gets booted out of her room, and then Dolores is scratching at our door to get in, so I let her in, and she sprints up there, and if we are covered up, she can't get under the covers. So then she literally finds a piece of your skin and digs on it. She would make you bleed to get under these covers, and so she goes rack under the covers because she wants to stay with all the people sleeping as long as possible, and then when everybody else gets up, all the other dogs go outside, and Dolores has never shat outside. She only poops on puppy pads or at the dog park on the turf. Like, that's the only places she'll poop. And so then she acts like she's going to go outside. Then she goes downstairs to the couch and goes under those covers. Like, she wants to spend as much of her life as a burrowed animal as possible. So, yeah, she would.
Who was that one that you got the heating pad for?
Peaky Blinders.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have older, small
Little,
dogs,
thin.
please consider getting a heating pad.
Just keeping it on, like, low.
A heated blanket.
Yep.
And keep it on low throughout the day. And here's why. We're all 4.5 feet up. I mean, our upper body is 4.5 feet off of the ground.
Yeah.
But if you were to go down on the ground, it's actually quite cold, especially if you have tile floors, hardwood floors, linoleum, something like that. If it's not carpeted.
And
it's
if they're
much
older,
worse.
they're not moving around a lot, so their blood's
They're
not circulating.
Small. I mean, Sharky's like 6 pounds, and he's decrepit. Like,
yeah, Peaky's like 3.5 pounds, and I was I hadn't even thought about doing that, and Holly was talking about it, and then they were talking about Chris's dogs. I was like to have the heating pad by the window, and so yeah, we set that up, and she's happy.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would be.
Yeah, she likes it.
I got one of those old time water.
Hot water bottle.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
How long does it stay hot though?
Quite a while, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Because I had one at the tiny home. It was my grandma's.
Yeah, it always
And it
reminds me
finally
of like a
broke.
cartoon. That's the only time I've ever seen a hot
I
water
freaking
bottle is
love
when
it.
a cartoon.
Love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
Roy Boy's on his way. Now, I'm just going to say it right now. Well, no, I'm not going to say it because then it'll happen.
Nope. He's
not coming back.
He's not coming back. He's gonna stay there because the stars aligned,
Yes.
and
I'll say this. Stanley is not upset.
yeah, and
No.
it's all about Stanley.
And I've been dealing with Stanley pouting for freaking 3 months now. So,
Hey, did you give him his gross treats I sent you? His new ones?
yes, he loves his crispy fish.
But there's new ones I sent. Did I give you those? Like the baggie. I don't even know what all is in there.
Oh, God, where did I leave those?
I don't know, but you're going to want to find it because they're going to get stinky.
Oh, they're in my truck.
Okay, well, let me know what's in there.
I got my car tires fixed, by the way, so I'm back in my car.
Yeah.
They're in my truck.
All right, well, let me know.
I
I
will
think
get
there might
those out.
be some like beaver paws or something in there.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it. I would have sent one with Roy. He would have loved that. I'll mail
I think
it to her.
Oh my God! You can't just
I
send a
will.
woman an
I said-
unsolicited beaver paw.
Oh, God.
She opens up her mail
You know
from the
what,
crazy
though?
lady who told her how to
That's
cut
a
dog
really
food.
fun idea. Who could I send one of those to? Like, as a joke. Does
Hot
that fall
dogs.
under
Yeah,
you?
start with hot dogs in your hands, and we finish with beavers in the mail.
That would be kind of funny, though, wouldn't it?
So they have
Okay.
rabbit heads
Anyway.
now at the
I would like one of
apothecary.
those.
And the entire fur of the rabbit, and then they chew on like the hide of it
I
with
did
the fur.
say that
Ooh.
I am not religious, that I am spiritual. A little, witch talky. So if you get me a rabbit head, I could probably do something with it.
Cool. Make us win the lottery. I'll get you a rabbit head.
Well, I wasn't able to check the P.O. box.
I wondered if we had any
I
mail.
know. It's my Monday thing. I do it on Mondays.
Oh, yeah,
I
we're
didn't even
off
think
today.
about it today.
Yeah,
We're off today.
yeah.
We're doing it early. So anyway. Okay.
All right. Well, that's
That's
what
all
we've
I
been doing. We're having fun again.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my dog.
What I mean when I see, what I see, what I feel, when I dream, when I be, I'm a freak, what up? Oh, what up? Everybody look at me when I'm free, when I feel, what I see, when I do it, I'm a freak, what up? Oh, what up? Say what we got, it's top the spot, give up the drop. See what we got, do what. We got to go, the body flow too hot to show the front row. We won't stop.